Sex is commonly believed to be the key to a happy, healthy romantic relationship. As a result, many people feel pressured to have sex. Young people think that sex presents a rite of passage into adulthood, while adults feel that they need to maintain sexual relations to continue being perceived as mature. But it is perfectly okay to not want sex, even as an adult. It's not childish or immature. To have sex is a choice. If you or someone you love shows signs of sexual aversion, please be kind and considerate. Just because you may choose not to have sex doesn't make you weird. And if your partner refuses to take your relationship to a more intimate level, it does not mean that they love you any less. Here are 5 reasons why someone might refuse sex. Sexuality. Huh? How does sexuality play a role in not wanting sex? Doesn't sexuality imply sex is involved? Not necessarily. For instance, some people identify as asexual, meaning they feel little to no sexual attraction to other people. Someone that's asexual may desire emotional intimacy, but may not see sex as a priority in maintaining their romantic relationships. Licensed psychologist Dr. Daniel Martson insists that to understand asexuality as a sexual identity, it is important to recognize what it is not. Asexuality is not abstinence for religious reasons or because of a painful relationship. Asexuality is not related to finding sex painful or having medical issues that impact sexual pleasure. Asexuality is not sexual repression or a form of sexual dysfunction. Also, it is not a sexual identity that occurs because someone cannot find a partner. Someone that's asexual may not necessarily disdain the idea of sex, but like with anyone else, it's important to respect their boundaries if they choose not to have sex. Avoidance. Some people are thrilled to have sex, while others are not. Others can be downright scared or apprehensive at the mere thought. Yes, sex can relieve anxiety and increase dopamine. Still, in some cases of sexual aversion disorder or sexual avoidance, people want to avoid the subject of sex and sexual activities altogether. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM, defines sexual aversion as the persistent or recurrent extreme aversion to and avoidance of all or almost all genital sexual contact with a sexual partner. Essentially, instead of pleasing them, the thought of sex scares them. Aversion to the extreme often results from previous sexual trauma, manifesting in anxiety, fear, and even disgust at the mention of sex. The Center for Treatment of Anxiety and Mood Disorders founder, psychologist Dr. Andrew Rosen, says that sexual aversion disorder can be so traumatic that the person won't allow any physical touch or kissing. Choice. Staying a virgin or choosing not to have sex in a sex-obsessed society can be challenging. Being a virgin has been stigmatized profusely, but thousands of people choose to remain single or remain virgins by choice. Some people choose to refuse sex until after marriage. Some have religions that require them to remain celibate. Some don't feel ready for sex, and some people just don't enjoy sex. Sexologist and author of The Sex and Pleasure book, Dr. Carol Queen, says, the important element is that the celibate person has chosen to be celibate. Sex positive doesn't mean that everyone is having a ton of sex. It means that each person should be able to create the consensual sex life that's right for them, unimpeded by outside restrictions, which include the option of celibacy. Not everyone practicing celibacy is religious, prudish, or scared of commitment. They're making a simple choice. Body image. Yes, it may be easy to tell your partner that they're beautiful or even sexy, but with enough negative self-talk, those words can fall on deaf ears. They may see parts of themselves as too big or too small or focus on their imperfections. This self-deprecation is often the result of body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD, which refers to a body image disorder characterized by persistent and intrusive preoccupations or thoughts with an imagined or slight defect in one's physical appearance. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, BDD affects about 1 in 50 people. So before you poke at your partner for that mole on their butt, think about how your words will affect them. Certified sex therapist Lori Watson insists that body image can really mess with our heads in bed and inevitably affect our sexual desire. According to Watson, If a woman, for example, feels like her body is unattractive, it leads to lower sexual self-esteem, which then often leads to avoidance of sexual activity. The more critically someone views themselves and their body, the less likely they'll want to be seen and touched. Addiction. Someone can be addicted to sex like another can be addicted to porn. Oxytocin, the love hormone, is often released during sexual activity, increasing the intensity of orgasms and pleasure. It's not hard to believe that anyone could become addicted to sex when the chemicals released during it make you feel so good. Oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin are dubbed the happy hormones for a reason. It makes sense why someone would want to feel them constantly and inevitably become addicted. Still, sex addiction has yet to be recognized as an official diagnosis, and many addicts are told their addictions aren't real or are an excuse for provocative behavior. Reformed alcoholics can refuse to drink, and reformed drug addicts can refuse even the most mediocre painkillers because they risk relapsing. Likewise, sex addicts should hold the right to refuse sex if they fear relapsing. According to psychologist Eliza Hartney, sex addiction is not a new concept. Historical records dating back to ancient Rome and 2nd century Greece report excessive sexuality, also known as hypersexuality in men and nymphomania in women. However, the modern concept of sex addiction was popularized by author and counselor Patrick Carnes. Out of the Shadows, Understanding Sexual Addiction, which explores the disorders and offers ways to pursue treatment like any other addiction. People engage in sex for different reasons, to be closer to their partner or purely for pleasure. There are a number of reasons people crave sex, but those reasons don't apply to everyone. So it's important to recognize that no one has the right to pressure you into something as intimate as sex. If you feel that someone is pressuring you into sex, please confide in a trusted friend or family member or consult a licensed therapist, counselor, or professional. You have every right to say no. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with someone who could benefit from it. If you want to explore other reasons someone may refuse sex or avoid intimacy, check out our video, 7 Reasons Why We Avoid Intimacy. If you think you may be asexual, check out our video, What Does It Mean to Be Asexual? If you know someone who is asexual and want to make more of an effort to understand them, check out our other video, 10 Things People Get Wrong About Asexual People. Until next time, remember to hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date on our latest videos. Take care, and remember that you matter.